For years, I did everything I was told to do. I worked hard, I saved, I tried to be responsible with my money. But no matter what I did, I never felt like I was getting ahead. I felt like I was running on a treadmill, working harder and harder, but not actually going anywhere. My money wasn't working harder than I was. And if you feel that way too, then you need to see this. Because there's a reason for that feeling. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to pull back the curtains and show you the exact framework that the wealthy use to grow their money, protect it, and have complete access without losing control. This is the part of the financial world that most people never get to see. Have you ever just for a second wished this was you? Staring at a massive pile of cash? Minus the whole illegal empire part, of course. But seriously, what I've learned is that most people don't have a money problem. They have a structure problem. It's not about how much money you make. It's about what happens to that money after you make it. Have you ever gotten a paycheck and a week later you were wondering where it all went? That's not a structure problem. That's an income problem. Now, before we go any further, I want to be crystal clear. I'm not here to give you financial advice. My goal is to educate you, to show you what's possible when you have the right structure. Everyone's situation is unique, and my hope is that by the end of our time together, you'll be more empowered to make better, more informed decisions. When it comes to money, I found that there are 4 types of people, and I want you to be really honest with yourself and see which one you identify with the most. First, there's the unaware. These are good, hardworking people. They save what they can, but their money just sits in a checking or savings account. If you ask them what's the plan, they'd say, I'm just trying to keep up. Next, we have the wisher. The wisher contributes to a 401k and just hopes for the best. They might check their balance, but they couldn't tell you what happens if the market drops for 2 years. Then there's the overconfident. This person loves risk when everything is green, stocks, crypto, the latest tech craze, but they don't have a plan when things turn red. And finally, there's the builder. The builder doesn't hope, they build. They care more about how their financial house is built than how it's marketed. They build with structure. Their money grows, but it's also protected. They're in control. So be honest with yourself. Which one are you right now? Because I promise you, everything changes the moment you decide to become the builder. Now, if you stick with me for just a little while longer, I'm going to show you something that will fundamentally change the way you think about your money and your future. This isn't just about learning some new information. This is about a completely different path, a different way to build your financial life. A path that most people don't discover until it's too late. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The next few minutes are where all the pieces start to come together. Let me ask you another question. What is one thing you're trying to improve the most right now when it comes to your finances? Is it growth, security, or is it just confidence of knowing you're on the right track? Most people aren't lacking the desire to improve. They're lacking the structure to make it happen. So what's your current financial game plan? Are you relying on a 401k, an IRA, investing in stocks or crypto, or is your money just sitting in a savings account? And more importantly, how confident do you feel in that plan? Or are you just trusting that it will all work out in the end? Because what most people never see is what's lurking beneath the surface. You guys remember the movie Titanic? Remember the scene where the crew spots the iceberg? The crew rushes in, trying everything possible to swing the ship out of the way. They're moving fast. They're reacting. They're doing everything they can. And still, it's too late. They clip the iceberg. And here's what most people forget. At first, nothing happens. People look around like, okay, that wasn't too bad. We're fine. But the problem was never the small chunk of ice they saw above the water. The real danger was the massive iceberg underneath the surface, the part they didn't see. That's what caused holes in the ship that eventually sank the Titanic. Here's why I tell this story, because that's how most people handle their finances. See, what most families do, they don't see the future taxes that will eat away at their retirement savings. They don't see the devastating impact of market losses. They don't see restrictions that prevent them from accessing their own money when they need it most. and they don't see the silent killer of inflation, slowly eroding their purchasing power. None of it feels urgent until the exact moment you need the money and realize it doesn't move the way you thought. Most people don't fail because they didn't save enough. They fail because they didn't have the right structure. And that's what we're going to change today. Now, let's imagine two people, person A and person B. Same income, same starting point, same amount of money, but their financial futures are drastically different. Person A does what most people do. They diligently contribute to their 401k. They feel responsible and their account grows when the market's up. But then when the market takes a nosedive and years of hard-earned progress vanish overnight, eventually the market recovers, but they're barely ahead of where they started. And here's the kicker. They still have to pay taxes on the money. The numbers they see on their statement is not the numbers they actually get to keep. Now let's look at person B. Same income, same money, but a different structure. When the market goes up, they grow. But when the market drops, they don't lose a single penny. They never go backwards. When they access their money, it's 100% tax-free. Same person, same effort, completely different outcome. So let me ask you, which position would you rather be in? Would you rather be person A or person B? This isn't about working harder. It's about structuring smarter. And so there's a new way, a better way. So the question is, what if your money can grow without the risk of going backwards? What if you can have both protection and growth? This is what I call the LIFT method. It stands for Life Insurance Financial Tool. And hold up, I already know what some of you guys are thinking. And before you check out on me, I need you to understand something very important. This is not about death. This is about how your money works while you're alive. Think of it like this. Your money is linked to the growth of the market, but not the losses. It's like being in an elevator. When the building goes up, you go up with it. But if the building were to drop, you don't go below the floor you've already reached. You lock in your gains. At that same time, your money is building up something called cash value. That's your money. You can access it, use it, and control it. So instead of crossing your fingers, you're building with structure, and that's what builders do. And that structure changes everything. In the LIFT method, let's say you contribute $1,000 a month. $900 goes directly into your cash value. That's your money growing for you and accessible to you. The other $100 goes towards the protection component, which creates the death benefit. So your money is doing two jobs at once. It's building wealth while you're alive, and it's protecting your family's future. This is why the wealthy don't just save money, they structure it. And this structure is what creates true financial freedom. Now, let me show you a real example of what this can look like. This was a client of mine who is 40 years old, who is maxing out his 401k, putting about $2,500 a month. But he realized he had no control over the money, and he was terrified of market losses, and he had no idea what his tax bill would be in retirement. So he repositioned $2,000 a month into the LIFT method. Same person, same income, same money, just a different structure. And here's what that allowed him to do. By the time he would retire, he would be able to access $150,000 a year completely tax-free. Over his lifetime, that would add up to over $3 million in tax-free income. And even after all that, when he passes away, his family would receive a death benefit of over $700,000. So let me ask you, would an extra $150,000 a year tax-free do for your life? Would it change when you retire? How you live? What you leave behind for your loved ones? He didn't earn more money. He structured his money differently. Now, whenever I show people that example, the first thing they usually think is, I don't even make enough to do something like that. And I get it. I used to think the same way. But what I've come to realize is that for most people, it's not an income problem. It's a structure problem. We've been taught to work hard, make more, and save what's left. But the wealthy do things differently. They start with the structure and then they build from there. Because the habit of building is far more important than what you start with. Now, let's take a quick look at our daily spending. And this isn't about judgment, it's just about awareness. That $10 you spend on lunch for just one person, that's $300 a month. That $8 a day coffee, that's another $240 a month. Those subscriptions you forget you had, those impulse buys, it all adds up. The money is already moving. The question is it building for your future or is it just disappearing? What if we looked at it differently? $500 a month is just $16 a day. $750 a month is $25 a day. $1,000 a month is just $33 a day. When you break it down like that, it suddenly becomes real, doesn't it? The wealthy don't start with a huge amount, they start with intention. And that consistency is what creates freedom. But here's the question most people are afraid to ask themselves. What happens if nothing changes? If you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep paying unnecessary taxes. You'll keep losing money in market downturns. You'll keep wondering if you're on the right path. And the years will quietly slip away. One day, you'll realize you run out of time to fix it. Not because you didn't care, but because no one showed you a better way. This is the moment where you can make a different decision. Now, you probably have some questions. One of the most common is, how much should I start with? So a good rule of thumb is start with 10 times your age per month, or about 10% of your income. So if you're 30, a great starting point is around $300 a month. It's not a magic number, but it creates the structure and momentum you need to start building. Another question I get is, do I have to stop what I'm already doing? And the answer is no. Some people add this alongside their current strategy, while others reposition a portion of their money, or others just go completely into the lift method. Everyone's different. So it's really all up to you. Another question I get is, what about the life insurance I have through work? That's temporary. So if you leave your job, it's gone. This is something you own, something permanent, something designed specifically for you. And then finally, why hasn't my financial advisor told me about this? The truth is, most financial advisors specialize in market-based strategies. This is a completely different structure, a different way of thinking. And once you understand the difference, you'll see a whole new world of possibilities. So earlier I told you I had something for you. This is it. I wrote a book called The Lift Method, Knowledge is Power, the stuff they don't teach us in school. It became a #1 new release on Amazon, and it's currently selling for $25. One reader called it a game changer, but today I'm not going to charge you for it. I'm giving it to you for free because I believe this information has the power to change lives. And if you're ready to start building your future, this is where it all begins. So the next step is simple. If you want a free copy of my book, just DM me the word gift and I'll send it over. And if you're serious about building your structure, DM me the word build. I only work with people who are ready to build with intention because structure is everything. The unaware will wait, the wishers will hope, the overconfident will gamble, but the builder builds. When you're ready to build, you'll know. The only question is, which one are you?